Uh. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Honor Among Men podcast. I am David, and to the left of me we have
Mikey Mike.
Yeah. And to the right of me we have
Mr. Maverick.
Yes, indeed, back in the building. And across from me, the face you'll never see,
Drew
we
Younger.
have.
Drew Younger.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hey, man.
I'm
it's
excited
all
to be here,
good.
y'all. I'm
Yes,
excited to be
indeed.
here.
Yes, indeed. Round of applause. Yo. What up, y'all?
What up, though?
What's the word?
Good. It was good.
Man, it's all good. Everybody cool?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. How everybody been doing, though?
Great. Not getting no sleep because of the
Okay.
baby.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But
Hey,
that
you knew
is
what
what
you
it
was
is. I signed up for it.
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
You knew what you signed up for, don't you?
Yep. Because I We
told
told
you.
you the first time.
Drew be chilling, though. Drew sleep. What time Drew get up?
Like he's an early
Late.
riser like his dad,
Okay,
so he's
okay.
up like 5:30, and he's just chilling in the bed until somebody comes.
Oh,
in the
but
room
he
and gets
chills, though.
Yep.
Okay,
I
that's
love
what's
it.
up.
I love
Bro,
it.
he looks like a little old man.
Yeah,
Yeah, facts.
He's definitely a little old guy. Yeah,
He's definitely a little old guy.
I'm gonna start charging him rent next month.
Hey,
He'll know
telling
it.
you.
straight up. Straight up. Gonna be eating you out of house and home,
Man,
too, in just a second.
Already does, bro.
Yeah, just a second. Woo!
Yeah,
Man, it's been a long time, bro, since we had Mr. Maverick. I thought you left us, bro. I was like, man, he ain't gonna never come back.
Has it
You
been
know
that
what I'm
long?
saying? It's been
a month?
longer than a month.
Maybe about 2 or 3
Was
months.
it 2 months?
Is this my mic or his mic? Speaking of that,
Speaking of that,
Dang.
oh no, cause I got the red
yeah,
one.
you read all day,
All right, it's the
Every-
blood of Jesus on my
every
mic.
time.
Yeah, we need the blood of Jesus on your mic.
For you,
For
right?
you.
That's the only form of filter
Yeah, right.
that's gonna help.
Hey, if you listening, prepare yourself now.
Listen,
It's about to get real.
nah, but it's definitely been a couple months, man. It's good to have you back, brother.
Yeah, 100%.
Round of applause for you, man. You know what I'm saying? We missed you, man.
Man,
I
likewise.
missed you, man. What you been up to, man?
Grinding.
Working on that million.
Yeah,
Let
man.
me get $1. You know what I'm saying?
I just want 50
Man,
cents.
why you get quiet, bro? Let me get $1.
Man, at the end of the show, matter
Okay,
of fact,
okay.
do we do ads yet? Are you getting paid
Hey.
yet? I promise you,
Nah,
watch.
y'all gonna know.
Once Dave blow up,
Nah,
watch.
y'all gonna know. Y'all gonna know. We gonna all
You gonna
listen.
forget about us.
Y'all
My mic
hate
ain't
y'all.
even gonna be here no
There
more.
they go.
Oh, he moved to North
Moved
Scottsdale,
on.
huh?
I know,
Let me tell you
moving on
something.
up.
He
Let
gonna
me
turn
tell
us
you
all
something.
into cameramen.
Listen, let me tell you something. I can't do this without y'all. You know what I mean?
man.
It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. I'm boring. See,
Wow.
see what I
Stop it,
mean?
stop
You
it,
see
stop
that?
it.
You see that? I'm boring.
I thought it was like a punchline.
I'm born.
You be clickbaiting too, bro. Right.
Nah, I'm not Mr. Clickbait. I just, I'm semi clickbait. We got
Yeah.
Mr. Clickbait right here. Yeah, if y'all could hear some of the stuff he be saying,
Man, oh man.
Lord have mercy.
What church do you go to?
Right. I ain't gonna do you like that though. So look, man, today we got one for y'all, man. It's a good one. We got a good one for y'all, man. I'm about to go ahead and read it. Is systematic racism really suppressing or repressing black people, or are black people suffering from self-inflicted regress or suppression? Man, ain't that something? I got another one here that say, as black people in America, have we achieved economical and social progress, or are we struggling to achieve it? Kind of the same thing. So, but we gonna get to it, man. We gonna talk about it, and we gonna see where this goes, man. Y'all already know how we do. I got that good question for y'all, and so this is a pretty simple one. Have we progressed as a people? Obviously, as black people, this is kind of where the basis of the conversation is going to be derived from. And so, as black people, have we made progress? Drew.
Why you gotta pick me first, man?
Yeah, man. Hey, look, man. You know what I'm saying? Rapid fire, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Economically, me as a business person, I kind of look at it from a capitalistic type thing. I think that we have, as a people, we have one of the top. It used to be number one, but it's number two now because
What?
As far as like the spending power
Okay.
in this country. As far as that's concerned, we make a whole lot of money. It's just as far as what we do with it is kind of I would say we haven't because we don't have anything to show for the money that we have.
Now, I want to interrupt you right quick because when you say spending power, what exactly do you mean?
Like what we earn, what we bring into our pockets. I think the last.
You said we used to be number one, and now we're not.
We're number two because the Hispanics have taken over.
So wouldn't that be earning power? Or, okay.
Well, in other words, what we bring in. So I think the number was, it was something crazy like it was definitely in the tens of billions of dollars that we bring in, like, I guess, as blacks, but we literally spend it. Like, we don't keep anything in our community. That was basically the gist of the article that I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
We don't bring anything into our community, and we really don't have anything to show for it, like investments or anything long term.
Okay.
So as far as that's concerned, I would say we haven't progressed in that and that
economically, no.
Economically. Socially, I would say we have, but it's kind of one of those things where you kind of run in place. I hate to say, we still are kind of. It's almost like racism used to be back in the civil rights era. My even in the '60s when my dad was growing up, he told me about different things that were going on as far as like race relations and everything, and it was kind of more blatant then. Now it's kind of more, hush hush,
covert.
Yeah, covert. So to say that we've progressed, I think it's more cosmetic progression. It's kind of like,
wow,
you kind of see a few. Go ahead.
No, it just looks like it.
Right. It just looks like it, but when you look at the surface, like I said, when you look at the fact that black people as African Americans, as you would call it, which I don't really agree with that term, but nonetheless, African Americans, we bring in so much money, but then as far as like accumulation of wealth that goes over generations, like you see other ethnicities have a lot of, it's kind of like we're. It's almost like each generation of black people, we're just surviving for ourselves and striving to just keep above water for ourselves, and we never enable the next generation to have a leg up or be able to progress. They just kind of start where we started and then just kind of almost halfway make it or make it a little bit above where we made it, and then the next generation just basically starts all over again. And that's kind of been our epidemic. As a matter of fact, Pastor Mike and I were just talking about that. We just, every generation of black people, we just start all over again. So I would say, no, we really haven't. It's just cosmetic.
So no, okay, there we go. So economically, not really, and socially, only cosmetically, or like the appearance of.
Right.
That's interesting, man. That's interesting. I definitely want to deep dive into that a little bit more. Rick, have we progressed?
I agree with some of the things Drew said. I do believe that we have made progress.
Okay.
Economically, it's just what we do with the money. What we do with the money.
Okay.
And it's impossible for us to have the type of opportunity that we have in this day and age and not progress economically when our ancestors were, striving and gaining wealth even in the 50s and the 60s, whether it was businesses and in Arkansas. Was it Arkansas? Was it?
Oh, you talking Oklahoma?
Oh yeah, you talking about
Oh,
Oklahoma?
sorry about that. In Oklahoma.
Well, and honestly,
This
I'm
is
sure we all
everywhere.
know this.
Yeah,
Yeah, everywhere
yeah,
had a. But
everywhere.
you talking about Black Wall Street specifically? Yeah, but everywhere had
as an
one, but-
umbrella,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
in Detroit where the factories were booming.
Mhm.
People were living.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
middle class black people during that time frame. So if they were able to reach that level of success in that time frame, it's impossible for us not to be able to reach those same levels, if not higher,
Okay.
when the door of opportunity is even wider.
But have we though? So you saying
Yes,
we
yes.
actually have?
Yes, we have. It's just how we as a whole are spending and what we're doing with it. So now, like Minister Drew said, although there are black millionaires, even billionaires, as a whole, generational wealth is something we may lack right now. Passing down
Yeah.
the wealth
Absolutely.
to the next generation.
Absolutely.
However, we made a lot of progress economically.
Can you give me like one way? Not saying that we haven't, but just kind of
Like what? What you mean?
what how? Like we have made progress. How?
Well, for the simple fact that we all have the opportunity to go to colleges and universities and obtain degrees and start businesses right now. We have black doctors. You can go to the city of Atlanta and all of the business owners are black. Matter of fact, Atlanta is like the new Hollywood almost when it comes to the movie industry.
New Black Wall Street.
It's black. It's booming. Yeah, 100%. And granted, it's cities like that across the nation, but Atlanta is like the hot spot right now for sure. But it's not just like one industry. Entrepreneurship. That's the thing that's been really pushed. Like sometimes we look at the youth of this age and say they're lazy and they're this and that. But man, in my 30 years of living, I haven't heard so much about entrepreneurship until like now, man. Like that's what we're all about as a people. But again, like I said, it's about transferring that wealth as well, and I think that's what we may lack a bit.
Okay. So, Mike, have we progressed?
I think I didn't take it the financial route when I thought of the question.
Okay.
More on a social aspect. I think we have, just from the simple fact, mainly piggybacking off of what Merrick said. I just think us as a people, we are more so like thinkers now. We ain't fighting. We ain't at each other's heads like we were in the past as a people, and I think that's how we have.
Hold on. We aren't at each other's heads as we were in the past. What past?
I think in
Like
recent
what
past,
era?
like maybe
Circa?
even 1990s.
Okay.
Where you can be. I don't see like as much. Maybe because I'm not in the inner cities anymore.
I
But
definitely
like
agree with you.
black versus black. I'm Crip. I'm Blood. Mindset where I can see Crips and Bloods in the same music videos now, or kicking it with
The
each other.
90s was wild.
Yeah, so I think like progress and being
90s was
2018. I'm
crazy.
like, man, we ain't even at each other's heads like we were. Like, we know we are the same people. We don't have people saying as much. Like, I'm not black. I'm not African American. I'm not this. I'm like, we are people.
Drew just said it.
Well, that's
I don't
the-
like the term.
I'm teasing. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you too. My bad, bro.
It's all good. It's all good. I just think, personally, I think we definitely have, just from the mindset that like our women are like the most go to college more than any other group of women in the world.
Okay.
Black women. That's progress. Black men are less incarcerated today than we were in the 1990s. That's
Okay.
progress. I mean, like, you know, we not everybody's getting these RICO charges like we were, you know, back in the day as a people. 3 strikes and you out charges. So
Yeah.
Appreciate
think about
that, Clinton.
progress thing. Yeah. Well, don't get me started. Don't come at my people. You know?
Wait, what just happened?
I just said appreciate that, Clinton.
Oh.
Hey, you know, hey.
Oh, Clinton, your people, huh?
Lay down for the cause,
We
you know.
not doing that, bro. We are not about to do that right now.
It was JK, you know.
Don't get Rick started on Clinton on the
know.
Clintons.
Hey, documentary, man. That's the documentary. You talking about documentary? But I don't know. Just to wrap it up. Truth be told, I just honestly feel like us as a people, we are now able to again self-identify with a people, and I think that's progress because we were so brainwashed where we didn't even want to be a people. We wanted to be what everybody else wanted to make us be, or looking at videos, and now we in this a woke society where we like, I'm black. I got my natural hair back. I got my I know where I come from. I know who I am, and that's progress. Maybe if it's reoccurring or we getting back to something, it's still.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, is that progress? Because I mean, I don't want to call it reverting because it's definitely because reverting is has like a negative stigma to it. Like, oh, you reverting, you going backwards. But for lack of a better way to put it, I mean, you know, Team Natural and being woke, you know, the revolution won't be televised. We kind of on that tip. This 2018 generation of us reminds me of the 60s. Like when I say that, I'm talking about, like, you know, the Black Panther Party and, you know, the fearlessness. Like, these kids are fearless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I guess you're right. Now that I'm sitting here talking it out, like, I guess it's progress, even though it kind of feels of old.
And the main thing is they allow men to be back in homes. So in the 1960s, men were in the homes. 70s and the 80s and 90s, we weren't. If it was for war or if it was for you know, mass incarceration. So now that we're back in the home, you know, in wars, you take the man away, you kill off the men, and then you can indoctrinate them with what you want them to believe, the women and the children.
Yeah.
So, you know, now that the men are back in the home, we have our own mindset. We have our own way of thinking. We have our own way of controlling our house.
Yeah.
So now that we think a certain way and we have us back home, we can now be, you know, heads to our wives, heads to our children, and, you know, give our doctrine, the our way. I mean, and it's not necessarily saying it's the best or going against another people's point of view. I'm just saying we able to be us. And
Yeah.
you can see more of us showing in our women and showing in our children again. And needless to say, it's good. And I think the woke point of view is it give people a chance to say I'm Christian. Like, we had so many people that were so lost. That's why Nation of Islam was able to come in here and steal so many people. We have black Israelites coming in and able to steal so many people because we didn't want to identify like, oh, Christian not a black man religion. Now we can like, I'm black and I'm a Christian. I serve Jesus. It's okay to say maybe Jesus wasn't white. Look at what they say he looked like. And you read those things, you're like, okay, maybe he's not, and then people can be open to something. I think this society is more receptive to saying, this is a fact, I hear it, and I'm going to walk forward with it, as opposed to us just, never doing research. This research society, they able to take truth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I digress. My bad.
No, you good. And I do think that we have made progress. All of those points that you guys have made are definitely relevant and true points. I think also, though, that is so we've made progress, but a lot of our energy is misguided.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I want to hear what you're saying first. I
think-
don't want to disagree without knowing what you're saying.
I think a lot of our energy, excuse me, I think a lot of our energy, and when I say our,
Yeah.
I'm really talking about, like the youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
The youngsters. I mean, we are fairly young men, but I mean like the ones that are younger than us.
I am at least.
Okay. All right, brother. Relax.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, brother. Nah, so I am at least. You had to say that.
I couldn't let that
Had to.
slide.
Yeah, you
I
did.
let several things slide with that one.
So misguided energy. We got this information, and what are we doing with it? What are we doing with it? I feel like the pushback is a little misguided. I was gonna try and get to this towards the end as like a recap, and maybe I still can, but I'll say it even now. So, I think that we need to band together financially instead of banding together always to fight,
Yes.
always to be violent,
Yep.
always to be, angry. Like, and I'm not saying that I don't understand where it's coming from. I get it. I get where it's coming from. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel the same way that some of these people are feeling as far as, man, I just want to go tear up something sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, with some of the things that's even happened to me. But, man, when we band together financially, when we finally get that, and I think we're on our way to it. We are definitely on our way toward it. But once we finally get it, we going to be unstoppable just as a people. Just as a people, as black people. Like, we going to be unstoppable once we figure out, kind of like y'all was saying, where to put our money, how to bring our money together. Like, we ain't gotta go to the oppressor and ask him to stop shooting us. We don't have to do that. If we band together financially, and it seems it might not even make sense what I'm saying, but I'm telling you, man, if we band together financially,
Yes.
we will not need to protest, stop, don't shoot, my life matters. You can't ask your oppressor to take your life into consideration. You can't, because he not going to. He gonna take his folks' lives into consideration. He gonna care about his people, and he should. He should care about his people.
But dig this. Two things. You can only combat the system. Well, I can't say you can only combat the system, but one of the most powerful tools we can use to combat the system is our finances.
Facts.
100%.
Facts.
However, on the flip side, the whole oppressor thing, I don't know what to say about that. Like, is it when you say oppressor, like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is the oppressor? Is it and when we say the system, I mean that's really a large component, or it can be vague unless you break that thing down. Because the system, I guess we can say, it can go from judicial, it can go to banking, it can cover like a variety of things. But the oppressor, like, what's that?
So when I'm talking about the oppressor, I'm really talking about the people that really truly run this country.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones who create this simulation of hatred and sit back and profit from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real race baiters, not Umar Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Umar. I love him. But he could be a little race baity at times. Not Tariq Nasheed. He could be a little race baity at times. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real race baiters, like the ones who are running this country. I mean, names come to mind like the DuPont family or the Rockefeller family or the Bilderbergs or, you know, those. That's who I'm talking about. The people that the government actually answers to.
So,
like for real, for real.
I think Andrew kind of said that in his beginning statement. Generational wealth. So things that happened in the past that's generational, laws that created in the past that's still affecting us today, that we don't even know there's like sub laws that happen or, you know, consequent chains that happen because of it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So yeah, when I'm talking about the oppressor, that's really who I'm talking about, because these are, and we all know this, these are the guys that's really having these laws passed, or really are in charge of what laws go forth. You know, like they fuel this stuff financially, like George Soros. He's one of them. He low on the totem pole because we know his name. You know, I'm talking about the cats who we don't know their name for real.
Yeah.
You know, like, so when I say the oppressor, that's really who I'm talking about.
Right. Well, one thing for sure, like the system is going to be the system to the day we die.
Facts.
Like nothing's going to change that. It's it's like sin. Like nothing's going to change it.
Period.
Like even though we're in the sinful flesh or we have a sinful nature,
Period.
It doesn't mean that we can't progress. It doesn't mean that we can't get better in the midst of.
Absolutely.
You know, so
absolutely.
even we are not, you know, exclusive whatsoever. Like
what do you mean?
Ethnic cleansing happens, you know, all over the world. Like, and you feel me? Like,
no.
You said no?
Check out the Sudan.
Wait, ethnic cleansing. So what?
Yeah,
I feel like you're saying get rid of oh, okay. All right.
No. Like complete, like cultures, and if you believe in this and you believe in that, like they are annihilating like whole towns and villages based off their belief.
Like I said, Sudan.
Yeah, no, I knew what you were referring to.
But I think.
So, Mahone, let me just finish this. And the only reason why I brought that up is because they're dealing with oppression on a more physical and really life-threatening levels.
Absolutely.
So what we're dealing with is more, I don't want to say psychological, but it can be. It can be.
It probably is more psychological.
And you know what? And this goes actually to Mike's point, because he said it's certain things that we are dealing with today based upon decisions and laws passed, you know, throughout history.
Yeah.
You know, however, even in the midst of all of that, I don't believe, you know, this oppressor has. I don't believe they have as much power as we give them.
And that's really my point. They don't.
They do.
They don't though. I don't think they do.
I think.
And the reason why, and we giving it to them. We giving it to them by going, please leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't do this to me. Now, one thing I do want to touch on before I forget what you said, as far as they are suffering a physical and we are suffering a psychological. I don't think that, I guess I could say that it makes a difference. I mean, obviously what they're going through is crazy what they're going through, but it doesn't negate from what we going through. It's like how we may say, and we've heard something like rich problems. Like, it's a struggle sometimes for rich people to figure out what car they gonna drive. As asinine, that's your word, as it seems to us, like, it's a struggle. Like, dang, man, what car am I gonna drive? I can't relate to that. But I'm not gonna take away from I'm not gonna poo-poo you like, man, you worried about what car you gonna drive, man, forget you. Like, that's something that you dealing with. Nah, I took it way crazy with the whole car thing. But my point is this, like, yeah, they're going through physical, but what we going through is something that's it's real.
When you have, oh, my bad, Mike, go ahead, do your thing.
I just wanted to hop in just for a moment, just to touch base on what y'all are saying, because it's like blowing my mind. It's answer 9, answer 10. It's crazy just from the mere fact that I think we as a people.
I just caught that.
That was a good one, actually.
that was funny. All right, go ahead,
Clickbait.
bro. Yeah, for real. Go ahead, though.
I just think it's like so far-fetched, because the reason why we are having this issue, because we have a sense of, I don't know who I am. We brought up Sudan as if we're not the same people. We don't look like the Sudanian people. We don't look like, so we want everybody to feel our struggle and sympathize with our situation, but we don't even care about nobody else. We're not even smart enough to read the news and say, I have a problem with what's going on in Sudan. Let me do something about it here in America, a powerful nation. Like I had actually a few podcasts back, Brandon even said, and he was in the military, he was like, when people see Americans, they don't say, oh, it's a black American, let me not kill that one. Or it's a white American, it's really on the simple fact that it's an American. So our voices through the world still hold weight, even if we feel like we suppressing this country. So we think it's an issue going on in Sudan and we don't say nothing, but then we want you to kneel with us during the national anthem because of, black men being shot in the streets when you got whole villages being killed. Self-identification. So when we say, oh, blacks are going through this, look at the term, what it really means, where we really come, what's the DNA? Educated black people, they need to be educated. Don't just use your knowledge and just let it sit there. Let your degree just sit in the closet or in that virtual world. Literally, if it's 3 types of people, Mongoloids, Caucasoids, and Negroids, what does that actually mean? That mean it ain't that many different people out there. So when you think about, I'm just going to go there. We already went there already. We talked about the Rockefellers and the different families and so forth. They all from the Caucasoid nation. They all believe what they believe. They all stick together. They, when I have white friends, when they say, "Oh, I'm from Ireland. My family's from Ireland. My family from Scotland," they able to trace where they come from and say, "This is who I am." They self-identify with their people, no matter where their people are. When you're in China and you're an Irishman, you still an Irishman. We over here in America like, I'm just black. Nobody else important to me. That's asinine. That's just, we selfish.
No, I think you're being extreme in that you say that we don't, or people don't care about what's going on. There are definitely a lot of people, like you said, that don't know where they come from, and that may just be from lack of interest.
That's don't care.
Let me just say what I'm saying, bro.
Okay.
It's okay. Lack of interest. Either they really just don't, they really don't give a hoot, a damn, whatever you want to say, and maybe just lack of being exposed to the information. Well, regardless of what it is, you can't just say that people don't care.
Okay.
There are some people that care. Like I care.
Some.
Like I want to. Like stop, bro. For real. I care about, and I'm still doing like research or like trying to find out like where specifically I came from in Africa. Like where did I come from?
Well, an argument when people say people, when we talk about black people, we're not talking about 100%. Most people talk about the standard deviation, so the main 60%, not the outliers on the 20 and not the outliers on the opposite 20. We're talking about the main group of people in the black community. So we're talking about the 60 in the middle. What do they actually believe? What are they actually fighting for? What are we actually? So when we're talking about Black Lives Matter or kneeling and the rioting is in the streets, we're talking about that young, energetic group of people that's that's black and they so care about me and care about homosexuality and care about liberalness and all that, and then they sit there and say, I don't care about what's going on in another country. It's literally that. It's like we gotta literally talk about the base that we're talking about. We're not talking about the outliers, not the outliers, the ones that's actually doing the research, the few in between.
But you want to know something? Our biggest fight right now as a people, and this is where this what got Dr. Martin Luther King killed, I believe, is because it's not really the social. It's the social economics.
Yep.
That's where where you see the huge disparities. Like the powers that be that you were referring to, they don't care you black or white.
Right.
As long
Fight,
as
kill
you ain't
each other.
Yeah.
So what?
If you ain't got if you not making this type of money, if
As long
you
as
ain't
you don't
living
got
in
the
this
financial
area,
wherewithal,
that's
we
it.
good.
The schools would be terrible. Hospitals terrible. The food in the markets are terrible. And it's because it's really not about race. It's the social economics.
And it's
that's
all,
the climate we're
all of that stuff is contributing to the financial wherewithal that they don't want you to have. When you not getting the nutrition that you need, your brain not gonna function the way it's supposed to. When you not getting the holistic healing that you need from the hospital, your brain or you're not gonna be able to do nothing.
However,
You're gonna be on disability and all kind of stuff. If you're not getting the education that you need, come on, man. I don't gotta finish that.
right, but
However,
in this technological age, we are left with no excuse.
No.
I agree. I agree with
We
that.
are
I
left
agree with that.
no excuse, man.
We are left with no excuse, and that's what I'm saying. Misguided energy.
I understand that completely.
Yeah, we need. And before we cut the cameras on, I said something like, "It's our fault." Like we gotta talk to these cats that don't know whatever it is. Like we have to do that. We have to do that, and we have to make them aware. Like, look, little brother, you ain't gotta wild out on them like that. Get them like this. Go to this path. Don't eat that.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Don't eat that. This ain't what you supposed to be paying attention to in school. Pay attention to this. Matter of fact, your teacher not even teaching you this. But look, I'm about to put you up on this. Get with this.
I mean, we can take it back. We can take it to what the Bible says. It says that the older men taught the younger men. Like we're not taking, for the most part. I'm not saying that because we do it. We take the young cats at the church to the side and we tell them like, look, X, Y, Z, elemental P. But we as a whole, like as a people, we need to start doing that more. Like, look, it's cool. You want to. I know you're good at sports, everything, but guess what? A small percentage of those people that you see in college actually make it to the pros. So you need to have something that is going to not only benefit you, but something that's going to benefit the generation that's going to come after you. So let's look at you being a biologist or, doing something in chemistry or being a doctor or something like that, coming up with a patent that will cure a disease or something like that. So like I said, we're looking not just at yourself, but, forward into the future.
I think we all need to be trying to show these kids some entrepreneurship or some some ownership like skills. Like that's what we need to be showing them. I'm not saying don't take them to be a doctor or don't show them how to be a chemist, but what you said is really what we need to be doing. Come up with a patent.
That's where all the money is,
like
bro.
do biology and come up with something that's yours. And don't let them take it from you. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't want you to forget your point though. What you was about to say, Mike. I forgot it. I actually forgot it, but Do you
forgot
remember?
already?
Okay.
No, you disagree with the fact that
Yeah, there
you
you
said
go.
that
It was a disagreement.
technology would
No
tell all the
excuse.
Oh
technology
yeah, no
don't have
excuse.
no
There it
excuse.
is. There it is. Like we ain't got no excuse, and I'm like, yeah. And he was like,
I think we say that, and like, just a disclaimer: we all know that we Christian men. So when we hear
Yeah.
scriptures already in our mind
Well,
embedded,
need
in
no
us, like,
disclaimer.
there's no, we know the scriptures like,
Yeah.
and nobody has excuse. Everyone should be called. Everybody should hear about the word. It's not gonna be no excuse. Every
Oh
knee should
yeah,
bow.
yeah.
So we have that already embedded in
That's
our
when
mindset.
Jesus come though.
That's when Jesus comes. So
Yeah.
we use that already. Like, there's no excuse for you to not know. But like, let's take it to the streets for real.
Okay.
Some of these cats ain't like checking for that no more. Maybe they had the chance when they were kids, but when you out here and you in the gutter, you in the gutter.
That's a fact.
You said it though. You know what you just said? You just implied, or you implied a choice was made. They are not checking for it.
Anymore. Which means it was shoved in their face and they was like, for whatever reason, really, for whatever reason they discarded it,
But you bring up a good point too. And I was sharing this with a partner a couple weeks ago. Like I forgot what we were talking about, but they were saying how people in the urban neighborhoods aren't taught business, or aren't business savvy
There we go.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They don't know.
However,
Quick dollar.
However, like you said, they know business. They just channel their energy to a different area, a different direction. So instead of getting an LLC, we're gonna get a LBS, some pounds.
This guy, you are hilarious for that.
He said it.
But yeah,
But-
absolutely.
But we don't look at that as business.
There it is. There
And-
it is. We don't know that that's business. We don't even know that that's business
Saving,
because it's so frowned on. Cat
profit and
man,
loss.
bro. When I tell you, I knew some of the coldest
Chemists.
savers in the hood, like some of the coldest chemists, some of the coldest savers. Like cats a hustle all winter and look like millionaires when the summer come, bro.
But
Like that's business savvy.
it's business savvy. However, and like Minister Drew said, unfortunately, it's all about the look for us.
Yeah, word.
And granted, now dig this, it's cool to have goals.
We are fly
It's
people,
nothing
man. And we
wrong
ain't
with
gonna get
having
around that
goals.
either. We
if
are
you
fly
say
people.
I want 28s by the summer, and I want flip flop paint, go ahead get your 28s and your flip flop paint. However, what are we doing to better the neighborhood? What are we doing to improve the area in which we live in? How are we helping our little brothers? So now our little brothers, they don't see business. They just see the hustle. They just see the street hustle. Unfortunately, that path doesn't end well for 99% of the people that create a career in it.
Let me get back. Let me jump back in
You know
for
what I'm
one
saying?
quick
Cycle
second.
continues.
I just
The
want to finish
cycle
what I was saying
continues.
just for one quick second
Go
because
ahead, brother.
I was at a little conference last
Conference.
Wednesday.
For sure.
And they said something that was like, I knew that, but I just, you hear something in college, you like, whatever. You drop past it once you pass the test.
Word.
But it's like the brain is not fully developed until you're 25.
Oh yeah, isn't that something?
Your brain is not fully developed until you're 25. But
That's something.
we look at our people. How often we are us as a black man, we tell some men's podcasts, black men arrested and thrown away by 25 in the cities.
Yeah,
So-
because of what he did
Because of what he did. So
at 17.
you're right. Got a grown man charged and you 16 for shooting somebody. You know what I
Word,
mean? Or
word.
because that's the life you were shown. And not every black person grew up in the inner cities. I don't want to make it like that's a thing either. But Neil, just simply saying, if our mind not developed until we 25, and we throw our children to the wolves at 18, you gotta get out. That's 7 years of you better survive with being dumb, not having your full brain capacity, essentially.
Being
So-
dumb.
And that's a
And
lot
then we
of
doing compounds on top. My bad. I don't
no,
mean
you
to-
good, you good.
We doing compounds on top of that. We going out. We getting drunk as we can
Right,
be. We getting high
compounding.
as we can be. We listen to false doctrine. We going to everybody's liberal arts university trying to find out about somebody else's history as opposed to finding out truth. So then we do these things and we ask for everybody else to give us a pat on the back or help us out of our situation. And now that we more educated, now we like, all right, let me find out more truth. And I think, to answer an earlier question or to go back on what you guys were talking about earlier, is this society, we can take the financial route, but we can take the social route as well. Right now on our phones, we can look at something on our phone and we could and then we get a text message or we go right to that. We now more of a society where we can multitask better than any other generation in the past. I personally believe. Maybe not. There's no fact check to that or nothing.
No, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
But I think we definitely do this. So when I think about being able to put ourselves out there more, we live in a social society where we can put on Facebook, Twitter, this podcast, anything else we believe out there immediately and get the social part out of it. But we can still also compound that with saying let's pool our money to helping these people come out of their situation,
Educating people.
being lenders and not borrowers. We can help each other, but we choose to say that point ain't important enough for me to latch on to. So us as a black people, we say nothing's important for us to latch on to because we want every agenda to be lined up with 100% our own mindset, as if common is common for everybody.
We want every agenda to be lined up with our mindset.
100%.
What do you mean by that?
If you don't think how I think 100%, I don't agree with your agenda.
And then later for you out of here.
Out of here. Like I can help you fix your agenda. Let me bring my people in that think a little different than your agenda. Let's meet at a table and compound on your agenda, compound on your focus. Okay, let's use Black Lives Matter since it's the biggest thing that everybody know. Okay,
and don't like.
And black people don't like. So let's have some people come in that completely disagree with Black Lives Matter, but that do agree that black people do matter, and put their opinion on it, and let's refocus that. And let's have Umar Johnson sit at the table. For instance, let me just go back real quick.
My guy.
FBI, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass sit at the table and know they have completely different pedagogies on life, philosophies, and let's debate it and let's move forward together as a people. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, let's talk
get something
together,
out of
move
it.
forward.
Let's not just argue. Let's get some. Yeah,
Well, you saw
for
what
sure.
happened when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were finally getting the thing straight.
They kill us.
Yep.
But we ain't gotta be in the same room no more.
No, I hear what you're saying. You're
We
right.
ain't got to be in the same room no more. We ain't even got the revolution will not be televised. They tried to tell us. Man, like, look, stop getting in front of everybody showing what you're doing. That's what they were trying to tell us, man.
Yep.
It ain't gotta be like that. Like, yeah, definitely. We are more social, or we have the capabilities of being more social now than ever. Once again, that misguided energy. We gotta know what to put out here. We gotta know how to do it. I
and
think
communicate.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like this podcast, the reason why the reason why it is successful is because everyone has their own way of thinking. And although your thinking may be different from mine, I can't say that you are wrong for what you are thinking. I can only share my ideals. And when I share my ideals and listen to your ideals, that opens up my mind a little bigger. That expands my way of thinking. It enlarges my territory and my brain. So now I'm able to weigh. I'm able to consider. So that's how we grow. But we have to be able to communicate. We have to be open, and we have to be able to communicate.
We can't be so sensitive to it, and we can't be scared to be like, bro, you're wrong.
Right.
Like, that's wrong. And even if we outlandish with it, I mean, like, even if it's not wrong, like, if I feel like what you saying is the wrong mindset, We need to be able to say that to each other. And we need to be able to go back and forth and not, you know,
Take it personal.
yeah, like you can't talk to me like that. Like,
Well, you know, as
men
why
shouldn't do that. Men should not be trying.
even
Right.
just like why
Don't
do
do
you
it.
say what you say?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was telling someone not too long. I'm always telling somebody
You
something.
definitely always telling somebody
But,
something.
You know,
Goodness
you
Christ.
really can't judge. To an extent, you can't judge someone on how they think or they believe because you don't know what they experienced
Right.
that got them to that point
Okay.
and believe in what they believe. The only thing we can do is, you know, enlighten, you know, share, you know, share our experiences and hope that, you know, that will open up their way of thinking. So all you see is the block. You ain't seen the Excel spreadsheet in your entire life.
Word.
You ain't wrote a check out in your entire life. But your mathematics off the top of the dome is phenomenal. So when I tell you, matter of fact, you give me the breakdown of what you make in a month, how much you're putting away, what you're spending money. I create a spreadsheet and says this is how a 500 Fortune company executes their budget on a monthly basis, and you do the same thing, but you didn't know it.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
So now where we see the progress, I should say, is, you know, the opportunity is out here. You know, we have a lot of successful people, but there's so many people in the underworld that's just as successful,
Right.
but it's not leading to a fruitful career, business, and it's not really transferring wealth, but transferring death in a sense.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to show people, like you just said. That's why that example is so important, because once you know something, then you get it's like that light that goes off in your head. Like,
Yeah,
"Dang,
yeah.
I've been doing that this whole time." Now that you know that, you get to take it and apply it in different ways, man.
You know, when you learn something, you can never like go back to the way you used to think.
Yeah, you can't.
You can. It's hard.
But
You know what I'm saying?
cannot.
Two things
Yeah.
of what you said. One thing, I thought of a movie,
Uh-oh.
the Eddie Murphy movie, when you said that.
Oh,
When they get to
I
switch
already know.
places.
Yeah.
But
Trading
second,
places.
Trading
Yeah.
places, yeah.
that's hilarious. But I think I don't want to get too controversial.
Wait, no, go there, because
You
I
already
think you, yeah. Like, what are you saying? let's
You're being anti yourself.
remember your second one and go back to the trading places, bro. What's up?
I just think in trading places, like that's really what you would see if we were given that opportunity. You would see black people flourishing and doing amazing with the business in a way that you never saw the business ever flourishing. If you put, we call it street smarts, but I'm quite sure it's a more positive term for it out there.
It is
works.
what it is. It is what it is.
But we, street knowledge is powerful. You need common sense to deal with, the practical. You can take, we can take I can go so many routes with that.
Yeah.
But and needless to say, I think one thing that we're not doing is we're not meeting the people where they are.
That's
Yeah.
definitely true.
I think about the definition of the
Gotta do that.
apostles: go out in the highway and the hedges and meet them where they are. And I think bringing the gospels, I think about the different letters that Paul wrote. The letter didn't mean the same thing to every church. He didn't talk about how you was going wrong to every community. It wasn't the same letter. Corinne's letter was to the Corinthians.
Yes, sir.
Romans' letter was to the Romans.
Yes, sir.
So if you're doing wrong and you're giving community, I think about Christian rapper 7. He go out to the projects and speak to them.
In the gutter.
In the gutter, like, look, I'm here with you. I'm right where you are. And we have so many mega churches and churches in the community that want the people to come to where they are and then say, oh, then I'll give you something. Then I'll feed you. But come see me first. When the greatest apostle of all, Jesus Christ, went to the people. He went to the people. And if we're supposed to be followers like him, we can take the Christian, terminology and take it to the practical. Hey, how can we literally use that same principle towards the people. Let's go out there and teach them math the right way.
Yeah.
Show them how they doing what you just now spoke about. Show them how these lyrics. And Rick, you for example, you a wordsmith.
Yeah, for sure.
You're a wordsmith. You know what I mean? It ain't just come from you reading a million books like you do now. You know, you like to rap. I think about the kids in the cafeteria, and they would be failing English, but
banging on the table,
and
putting
flowing
words together like it's nobody's business.
So I think
meet people where they are.
Meet people where they are.
I could be wrong, but the Bible, and I'm not wrong about what the Bible says, but as far as my interpretation of it, I become all things to all men, and I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me. That's exactly what that means. It don't mean become a stripper so you can get with the stripper, or so that you can reach the stripper. Become a dope boy so that you can reach the dope boy. Start cursing so that you can reach the person that curses. No, meet them where they are. I mean, that's a fact, man. You're right, bro.
That's a huge fact. And the thing is, when you talk about that scripture, it's easy to highlight our differences, but when you get to communicating and speaking with individuals, we have so much
in common.
So much, but we don't take that time to communicate like that. But until you meet an individual where they are. And the church, the body of Christ is a beautiful example of that.
Yeah.
Because there's certain people that I probably would have never bumped shoulders with in my life unless we were in the church.
Yeah.
And they're in different industries, different backgrounds, different makeups.
Yeah.
Everything you can think of is different, but this commonality called Jesus Christ and salvation in heaven brought us together. And now, even though your background was very different from mine, we still can relate.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Finding them commonalities.
We got to stop being so. And we're like this not only with ourselves, we're like this with everybody else. We're very defensive. Like as soon as, what's up?
Go ahead. You was already.
You said what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, just like back when I was growing up, I didn't grow up in the inner city. I grew up on military bases. So for me to hear about gang violence, that's all I saw on TV. Or that's what I heard about something that my father was saying, because he grew up in Philly, like in the 60s and the 70s, where it was like a war zone. So as far as like, being hood, street, in it, I couldn't relate. When I was a teenager, I tried to be it in my early, like you said, like 25, I finally woke and be like, I can't be hood, I can't be G or nothing like that. Can't be, what I can't be what I believe to be what being black was, because
that's deep, man.
Being black is what I saw. No, this is what I'm saying.
Hurt.
No, this is, I'm being truthful.
Yo,
when you turn on Fox, when you turn on CBS, when you turn on BET, you're seeing what is being fed to you as being what being you is.
Yeah.
So me growing up and me, not wearing my pants sagging or not speaking slang or anything like that, I was dissed like on a daily basis, talked about on a daily basis, even after I graduated. Man, you're not real. You're not this, you're not that. And that made me feel like, even as a man, I'm like, so who am I? Like, what am I? Am I not being myself or not being true to my people?
Right.
By not being, having that, that street swag or that street lingo or anything else like that. It's like, no. You're cool with being who you are based on where you came from.
And that's one of the examples, one of the reasons why I know we've progressed. Because we are all not the same.
Right. Right.
We are all individuals.
Right.
And we wouldn't be able to see that unless we progressed. You feel me?
Word, yes.
Unless we were
Absolutely.
exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Because dig this, when you're on the plantation, you can only see as far as the plantation goes.
Right, that gate.
That's it.
Word.
I seen a documentary, and we talked about this not
Recently,
too long
yeah.
ago, and I think it was like in Louisiana, y'all remember we was talking, or Mississippi, something like that. Bro, it was like in the 20th century, you know, and people were still enslaved, and they didn't even know Dr. Martin Luther King existed because they were so sheltered. They can only see as much, you know, as the slave master would allow.
Allow them to see.
But we, as a people, are exposed to so many variations of us.
You know what? I'm glad you went there, because on the lecture that I went to last Wednesday, it was on that set too. Like, how much of technology do you want to expose your kids to? How much of, you know, other people's opinion do you want to let in your children's psyche before they're old enough? You know, how do you want to indoctrinate them with your own doctrine, you know, your own beliefs, pedagogy in life, before you allow somebody else to start indoctrinating them? And I started to feel guilty just from the mere fact that my children have TVs in their room.
Oh, okay.
My children's able to, you know, get on phones, and the lady was talking about how he had a different password and things you can turn off on your phone. So more or less, I grew up in Maryland, but, you know, 20 minutes up the road, the Amish are there, right in Pennsylvania, an hour up the road. And they
No
have
electricity.
no electricity. So what do they see? They don't hear anything that we are getting angry about, black people being shot in the street, or the president saying something that we're offended by, or whatever we may be seeing on the news. They ain't getting, you know. And the lady said this. The lady said she turned off her child's notification for websites, but you know, for school they had to look up like you know, bras or what women wear or something like that, and they start giving them porno ads.
Wow.
So it's so far fetched and so much craziness out there in the technology. We like, man, how much do I want my kids to know before I'm ready to know it? Right, before I'm ready to have that conversation or any conversation with them. Like, they go to public schools and they hear, you know, Christopher Columbus and it's Thanksgiving time. We're like, I want to give you a different point of view on Christopher Columbus before you hear about
you
Christopher.
the real point of view.
You know, it's just so many different, you know, concepts to this big world we live in.
Yes, sir.
And I just feel like technology can definitely be used demonically, but we as a Christian also have to use what God gives us. You know, the gifts come without repentance, or, you know, and so forth. And I think the things that God gives in that same concept, that we must, as Christians, hop on it and use it before the devil just have his way with everything. We ain't gonna give everything away to him.
Yeah.
You know, that everything, you know, all money is the root of all evil, but the love of money. So, and that's not love the
Get
money.
it right.
Yeah, the love. You right.
Money answereth
All
Yeah,
things, right?
yeah.
In the same Bible.
The
Hello.
Bible. So yeah, it's just we got to make sure we use the scriptures. Like I'm glad you corrected me on that
Correctly.
too.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're right.
The scriptures, man. Like, use the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
But that's how we do it. So when we talk about progressing economically, like, this is how we do it. We do it like the apostles. We teach.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
That's it. And
Man.
and going back just to the initial question, we have progressed. There's so much more for us to do.
There's so much more for us to do.
You know what? I something just hit me.
Miss
If each
Biden,
one of us,
I hit you. Go ahead.
that's why I don't like him, man. That's why I don't like him. But I love him, but I don't like him.
You got a
sometimes.
bell on there?
If each one of us,
Ding. My bad. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
all it takes is one person. All it took is one person to redeem mankind. All it took was one person to put mankind in the gutter. To make that decision, let's go ahead and let's go. You're right, Eve. Let's go ahead and let's bite this thing, see what happens. You know, we won't surely die. So my thing is, we don't know. By investing in people, we really don't know the fruit of that seed. So it can definitely we never know. Like the men that we reach out to, the young men that we reach out to in church, that one guy, boom, the light comes on and he just turns the world upside down. So that's the reason why we should invest in our young people. That's the reason why we should continue to educate them until they get tired of hearing about it. They need to be tired of hearing about it because they've been going so long of not hearing about it. They need to be. I got so tired of my father telling me, look, you need to think outside the box. You need to think smart. You know, the police are. I used to hate it when he said that. Like the police, they're looking for a reason to lock you up. Like let's be real about it. I used to hate hearing that because for me, I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why are they going to be bothering me? So I didn't want to hear. I didn't want to hear that negative part. Like they're looking for a reason to. They're itching for a reason for you to go ahead and be like, buck your chest out. You go ahead and do it. I'll take you out like right now and leave you there, you know, lying dead. But I lost my train of thought. My brother.
Hey, can I say something?
Go ahead.
You said something that was pretty profound regarding the results of eating the apple. Like,
where's he about to go?
Did I say something wrong or right?
I mean,
You said
no.
profound,
I mean,
so.
you said what the Bible said. You know, I mean, by their actions, they said we ain't gonna die.
Yeah.
But death, their perception of death was different than what it actually
Right.
was.
Absolutely.
They didn't just instantly die. They would eventually die. So their perception was off of what they thought death or the result of eating the apple would be, or the lack of, because they definitely slipped up. Or our perception, being able to look back, we'd think that, oh, they supposed to instantly die, when really, over time, eventually, because they would have lived forever, no. Now you are cursed to where everyone has to die at some point. So when we talk about progress, sometimes it's difficult to see the progress that we actually made because of the challenges that are still around us, or because of the lack of education. You said it, you know, we're making a lot of money. We bringing, you know, a lot of money into the household, but it's how we're using it. So we're making the progress, but our perspective or our perception of how we're supposed to use this money is just backwards.
Boom.
Maybe
Boom.
kind of, sort of.
No,
man, I
no,
was
you
trying
got
to-
it. No, you got it.
100%.
Like we were,
100%.
I was saying, I mentioned something in an earlier podcast about like insurance policies and everything. You guys brought it to my attention. Like nobody was really, not a whole lot of us were taught about that. You know, putting insurance but a Jewish guy, when I was living in LA, he schooled me, and he was like, look, you know, and he had enough space to be able to talk to me like this. He said, when he said you people, he wasn't being disrespectful. He was just talking like, you guys like have your minds on like the wrong thing. And I was open enough to be like, no, what do you mean? He said, look, as a Jewish guy, I'm taught to look at like not just myself but the whole nucleus, not just the household but the community, like us as a people. Cause we like you were saying, like, you know, we help ourselves. So, you know, I'm going to go get an insurance policy for every single person in my household, so that when they do die, it's just a natural part of life. Guess what we're going to do with that money? We're going to invest that money, and it's going to go to the next generation, and they're just going to keep on doing that. So he said, that's why I'm able to live the life that I have now, because my grandparents set me up. My great-grandparents set me up. They did the insurance policies. We put the money in, but like we were saying, it all comes through education. How did they know to do that? Because they were taught to do that from day one, when they were in Pampers, in diapers.
Boom.
They were like, look, this is what you do. And this is, and like I said, it starts off with one. I'm doing that with my son now.
Yeah.
Like I'm teaching him, like, look, you may have the skill to be a musician, be a football player, like all that. But make sure that you know what to do with that money once that check gets in your hand. Don't go and spend it. You need to go put in some 401k, some IRAs, some real estate, some of everything, so that when you might get busted in the fifth year and be out.
You want to know something? People may, my bad. People may actually overlook the quiet times in their life where they're not doing a whole lot of hustle and bustle. So, you know, you got a job and it's like, man, I should be doing something more. You know what I'm saying? What can I do to bring more money in? You know, it's quiet. You're not doing a whole lot of moving to yourself in your mind.
Right.
I need to be doing something. When the down times is where we are supposed to be studying and reading up on different things, how to invest. See, we want the $50,000 check before we even know what to do with it.
Right.
That's backwards. Like, that is completely backwards. We need, in our downtime, when we are sick of our jobs, when we clock out, we need to be looking at different avenues to invest.
Yeah,
Not to
you
even
so
do
sick.
anything right now. Just study, read,
So,
educate.
so time out though.
Time out.
Just to go back, it's hard to do that. Time for Mike to be Mike now. It's hard to do that when we have people that's afraid to say they black, afraid to say they African American.
What exactly do you mean? What exactly do you mean?
We don't self-identify with the same people. We, half of us black, half of us I'm not.
Oh, okay,
this.
I see what you're
we,
saying.
We don't even want to say we the same people.
One thing-
I'm Cherokee. They don't even exist
One,
no more.
one
Cherokee
thing
don't want you.
One thing I was gonna say is, and I understand you feel like you're the guy. He wasn't being disrespectful, and I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe I don't know. But that's how other ethnicities look at us. You people. This is what y'all doing this wrong. Y'all doing that wrong. My point is that was a rare occasion, and that was a great occasion for him to impart that into you and show you that. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying when I said they look out for their own, and they should. You said since birth, they raise all the children know this stuff that we just now finding out within the last 10 years or whatever. And so that's really what I'm saying. It's extremely important for us to literally not or to take advantage of the youth. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is they not too young. They are not too young. We see it even in our ethnicity. I knew a couple of cats that was like, my age when I was, 27 or 24, I even knew a cat at like 22 years old where he had like a couple of cribs and, he was investing his bread. But he literally learned that stuff as a kid. Like, his parents was banging his head like, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And they had bread for him to, be able to do those things. And they showed him, they didn't just give it to him. They showed him how to work it, how to earn more than just this is what we giving you. And so I just think that is so important for us to look out for one another. Just kind of to repeat, that was a rare occasion that you experienced. We can't be going around looking for those occasions. Now, if you got somebody that's going to do you like that, take advantage of that person.
For sure.
Pick that person brain beyond belief. But everybody don't got that. And so it's up to us. It's up to us to beat it into our kids. And I don't literally mean whip it. I mean like repetition. You know what I'm saying? Like repeatedly telling them. My kids get sick of me repeating stuff to them, but I don't care because when I'm dead, they gonna hear my voice. I'm gonna make sure of it.
For sure.
When I'm dead, they gonna hear me like I'm right there. And it's gonna be the right stuff. I'm gonna be telling them the right stuff. And so, man, that's just what it is, man. We gotta do that. I keep talking, and I think we are too, talking about the youth. We keep mentioning the youth here and there because honestly, what we learn is what we gonna learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's too late for us because it's not too late for us. We still fairly young men, but we all over 25. And so what we know is what we know. and we are above average cats. So, you know, we definitely do push ourselves mentally, but everybody don't do that. You know what I mean? And so what we have to do is impart things into the youth. I can definitely hear my dad, who is dead now, telling me, boy, if I had the opportunities back when I was your age that you have now, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. And so even if it's just that, like we gotta teach these kids something. We gotta tell these kids something, man.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
You just said a whole boatload, honestly. But bro, the reason why we keep talking about the youth, because the youth is going to be the result of our cultivating.
Yes, sir.
The youth is going to be the evidence of the seeds that we planted. The youth is going to be the evidence of our progress. Like, and that's what you said it not too long ago. You was like, man, you said something like such and such happened. You was like, we dropped the ball.
Yeah, word.
We did it.
Word. We
can't
about
expect
something different, but yeah.
We can't expect the youth to blossom if we not, you know, instilling, if we're not feeding, if we're not cultivating, if we're not being there.
Yeah.
So that's why we keep going back to the youth.
They're next. They
are next.
We can't complain. We can't complain when we're 70, 80, even 90 years old. Oh, they're no, we can't do that. Because what do we do when we were 30, 40, and 50?
Don't do
did
that.
we just?
I'ma still do it though.
Did we just? No, I'm just
What?
saying.
Don't do what?
Did we just look past them and talk about how you're misguided,
Oh,
you're just reckless and everything? Okay, I get that. Okay, past that, what should I do?
Show me something. Word.
What should I do?
We're gonna be different than
You know
them.
what I'm
though.
saying?
We definitely are.
No,
we definitely are.
We
Our generation gonna be different. We had a
Yeah,
big
I agree.
drop of the ball that happened before us.
True.
no, for sure.
So
For many factors.
For many factors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke of some earlier, being incarcerated, being in wars,
Yeah.
being drugged up. As far as even go so far as like it was better for a woman to have her and the children in the house than having a man there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get kicked out.
All of that.
So there's a lot of different other reasons why we weren't there, but simple fact that we weren't there as a men is definitely a difference. And now that men, I know men that's not in the house with their children, but they still active participants in raising their child.
Right.
And we more open to saying something.
Mm-hmm.
If it come with the feminist agenda or whatever it may be coming with, men are now saying stuff more than they did in the past.
Yeah.
So when we hear the old head say, "Oh, this generation or that generation," because y'all ain't show us nothing. Y'all had dads in y'all house, and that's why y'all did things the way y'all do it. But we ain't got most of us ain't have dads in the house.
Man, I'm gonna say that's part of. I like that part of our culture, and
What you mean?
I've been living my whole life so that I could get old and be like, y'all youngsters don't know nothing. Let me tell y'all something. So that's what I'm talking
angry
about.
uncle.
Yeah, man. I love
inevitable.
I love that. I love that part of our culture, man. I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna be definitely showing these kids something. And one thing I did want to say too is that it gets frustrating, man. Like I can't sit here in front like it don't get frustrating talking to these youngsters sometimes, and some of the stuff that they say make you want to choke them, bro.
You see that they dumb. They dumb.
Yeah, and you know what it make me think?
Stupid.
I probably was like that too when I was his age. Sometimes I'll be like, nah, I couldn't have been that stupid. But I mean, hey man, I don't know. Maybe I was.
I talked to my parents, like, you said something.
You said some pretty dumb junk. Maybe I was, but the thing is, my pops didn't let up. My mom did not let up.
For sure.
She got so frustrated. I remember one time, bro, my mom literally took every belt in our crib. And you know, back in the day, or maybe even now, like women they had a lot of belts. They had belts to match every outfit. She took every belt in the crib and whooped me with it. That's how frustrated she was.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so it gets frustrating. but she never let up. Oh, bro, I got some stories about some whips. My mama broke a broomstick on my back one time. How frustrated she was, though. You know what I mean?
Been there.
But she never gave up.
Lord have
Like, she never gave up. She kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. I said some dumb junk. I know I did. So, I mean, we can't give up, man. Even though these youngsters they crazy, man. They crazy, but they fearless too, man. They fearless.
See, but I think the youngsters, then when we go to youngsters, truth be told, I think we not talking about 15, 20 years younger than us. We literally talking about 10 years younger than us. Like, I think the big drop-off was, you know, our parents having a child and, like, society literally changing in front of us. Like, think about it truthfully. Like, and hate to bring technology back into it like that over and over again, but when I hit ninth grade, that's when cell phones got big. Like, we had the Nokias and all that stuff coming out, but the chirp came out ninth grade year for me. That was 2001. Like, so you talking about when that stuff hit? Now we got little kids 5 years old with cell phones.
Yeah.
My 2-year-old knows how to work his cell phone.
All
Word.
of our kids, we give our phone, they like, oh, I didn't even know that feature.
Yeah. They
get
know
a
how
phone
to
back to 'em and
tap
figure out
into
how to do
different
it
things.
again.
Yeah. What you do to my phone?
How do you do that? Let me watch as you do it. So I just think literally as we look at the situation, like we're giving shame to a generation that they're not even able to be judged yet. We're judging our generation and saying it's the past generation. It's really the millennials that's simple. It ain't the past generation it's not the generation coming up yet. They ain't even able to make. It's like I get you talking about having a child, and I work with the youth at church.
I'm talking about the youth. Yeah.
And I think the youth are
Shout out to
literally
Samurai.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But I think who they looking at is the people that's right underneath us. That's on. I'm gonna say one name. Y'all may not agree because y'all from Detroit, but they looking at Big Sean.
Don't do it.
They looking at Big Sean.
Oh, okay.
They looking at the mumble rappers, Migos, and they like.
That's two different categories, bro. You can't do that. You're not finna put Big
I'm
Sean
right.
in with
Don't do that,
Migos.
bro.
You're not about to do that.
I just did it. They're looking at this simpleness, and I don't mess with
you. Really bugging. You really bugging right now.
They look, and the Big Sean's a beast.
Okay. Clean it up, brother.
He's a beast.
Clean it up, Doc. I need
The
you to-
Migos are a beast. What they're able to do with their mental intellect is amazing. As a matter of fact, look at it. Hold on. Whoa. Y'all about to make me mad with this. Because I'm talking myself.
He's the only one talking.
Y'all said a few
Y'all about to
things.
make me mad. Go ahead, bro. Say it. I definitely want to hear
Who's in the
this.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that just was talking about the Migos are doing what we doing?
Oh, who said that?
Bone Thugs and Harmony was talking about
Oh.
Migos are doing something that we did.
That's a fact.
And they made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doing what they did. Like, they are literally rewriting something, and we pay, like, oh, they ain't doing. These are smart people that we just sent. And we have this already built up in us where we, like, I'm going to poo-poo our own people just like everybody else
dismissing
did.
them.
Like, let's build with these cats. They are doing something phenomenal. And instead of, like, they dumb, like, That's
But no,
cultivate their smartness.
I have to say this, bro.
Say
I
it.
have to say this.
We about to get into a whole nother
No,
different
no,
type
no,
of
no,
conversation.
no.
Go ahead, bro. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
just gotta say this though.
Do it.
See, in the hip hop realm, is you're judged on a certain set of skills. Now, for them to be where they are, it's apparent that they have a set of skills that catapulted them to that level of success. But in hip hop, like that's what it's about. It's about the debates. It's about all of that. Now, when you say people look down upon them, usually it's older heads. They just don't get it, and it's not. But because everything isn't for everyone.
That's true.
That's just it there. Everything isn't for everyone. I don't want to listen to the songs that Jalen listened to.
Mama. Man, Jalen better not be listening.
I'm just saying in his age. I'm
Look at
using
the
him.
witch.
Yeah.
Look at
I'm
the
using
watch.
him as
Look at
the face of his generation right
Yeah,
now.
I'm raising a Drew Jr. I want him to be like Drew was raised up.
Orange County.
Okay,
You know what I mean,
but I think
Don't do
that's
that.
a little different. But still, that's progress.
we just got at you.
You hear what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah.
That's still progress. So their foundation was Bone Thugs, and it catapulted them to the Hall of Fame on the shoulders of Bone Thugs. So dig this. Y'all ain't feeling me, so I got something else.
Go.
So dig this. Another reason why I can tell you that we've made progress. How in the world can your 5-year-old daughter or son work your phone better than you? Now, it's going to be pros and cons to everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's just life. That's the balance.
Okay.
Sorry. That's what happens.
Word.
However, that you see the progress right then and there. As long as we as the older generation are doing what we need to do to open up the door a little wider, when it's our time to pass them the phone, when it's our time for them, when it's their time to walk through, they're going to take it a little further with the opportunity given them. Here he go. He laughing.
Cause this brother just turned the phone into a metaphor for the torch.
Waxing
Did
poetic.
y'all peep that?
Waxing poetic.
I actually got lost. You know, 'cause I was like, I'm not that smart.
That
You know,
brother
my bad, bro.
metaphorically turned the phone into the torch. Now, see, we got to pass the torch on to them, and we just open up the door, okay? And when they ready to go through the door, they ready. Because we done gave them the metaphorical torch.
Oh God, snap.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead,
I ain't
man.
talking about nothing.
We
man.
missed you,
I
man.
ain't talking about
We
nothing.
missed you,
We gonna
man.
phone a friend next time. He don't
You know what I'm
come.
saying? We gonna
gotta
call
go.
you, brother.
Like,
But for real, y'all see that though?
Yes,
Yeah.
no, for sure. For sure, I see it.
yeah.
Now dig this left field and I'm done. I promise. This
Don't be
may
done.
be left field.
Here he go.
So I can't even say our ancestors,
Forefathers,
forefathers. There we go. I like that better. Ancestors just sound so old, and
Yeah.
I'm not going that far back.
Oh, okay.
You feel me? But the leaders in the civil rights movement were youngsters.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
You feel me? They were
Surprisingly
youngsters,
young.
bro, in high school and elementary. Like, these were the leaders in this movement.
That's
Those at
so
the
crazy,
counter.
man.
Isn't it crazy?
It's so crazy, bro.
At the counter, sit-ins, going into jails. Like,
Yeah,
these were
man.
children.
Literally, though.
So now dig this. Their sacrifices during that time opened up the door for what? Affirmative action. That affirmative action opened up the door for more opportunity. And I'm not just saying we can only get it by affirmative action, but I'm saying like during the 90s, that was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Their push opened up that door, which allowed us to, get certain degrees that we may have never, obtained at that time. But now look at us. Our parents who got these degrees, open up the door of opportunity for us to where we can make the choice to say, you know what? I want to go into business.
Absolutely.
I want to go this route. Now we have choices. It seems like every step of the way, more choices are given to us.
Yeah,
more
that's
options.
real.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
The thing
Absolutely.
is,
That's dope, man.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I know it's kind of like
the thing about
scattered,
dope,
but-
though.
the thing about technology is, it's opened up the door even more. Like you're not just kept on your neighbor. You're not just kept at your neighborhood. You can't just sell T-shirts or whatever you're trying to sell, whatever comics you're trying to do.
Right.
You're not just shelled into your neighborhood. You can be all around the world.
Mhm.
This is
Reach
proof.
people all around the world with whatever you're thinking, whatever you want to say to people, whatever you want to share, whether it be business, philosophy, religion, all those things. So we need to take advantage of it, man.
Gotta take advantage
Gotta
of
take
it.
advantage of it. But the thing is, I was reading an article. It says, and it's probably because of exposure or lack thereof. Blacks really don't. We really don't use technology to the fullest extent. Like take advantage of it to the fullest extent. We're some smart people. I was telling Pastor Mike this. Black people have come up with some of the dopest, most useful inventions to mankind. You wouldn't have a street light without a
That's
black
literally
person.
the first thing I thought about.
You wouldn't have the car coupler for the train that you see on the tracks without a black person.
Word.
The stoplight that warns them that a train is coming.
Word. Heart surgery.
Black person. Heart surgeon. It's a black person.
The
So,
first.
The first.
Mm-hmm.
We're some smart people, and I don't want people. We're not dumb. We just have to get back to the root of the root of things, and we need to put our energy towards positive. Yes, we may have all these these things that may be against us in quotes. But like my dad said, that's just the cards that you were dealt. How you gonna play the hand? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna play? You could fold. Forget it. Sit at the table with your arms folded, puffing your lip out, have an attitude, be mad at all the other players who may be holding full houses, all that stuff. Matter of fact, guess what? You don't even know the hand that they have. They may have a crappier hand than you, but we're looking at them just based on their looks, just like we do in society sometimes, and we be like, oh, that white person, they may have it better than me, rather than just looking at our situation. Okay, nix all the outside influential stuff. Let me make sure that I get as much knowledge as I can so that I can do good for myself, put myself in a position so that I can pass something on to the next generation, not even the next generation, to the next person that I may be able to influence. I want to put myself in a position financially, mentally, spiritually to be a mentor to somebody that I see, okay, they're where I was. Let me just take them by the hand, hypothetically speaking, and guide them to where because these kids don't know where they're going. They don't know left from right, up from down. But if we who have been there and done that can give them some type of guidance, it'll shorten the learning curve for them.
Okay.
See,
Absolutely.
now, two things.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump, man.
Because I knew. Yeah, I already knew.
I'm not even coming after you, Drew. I'm gonna go all the way a different way because you were driving me crazy. You was driving me. My head was hurting. So I was about to get mad, but I'm like, Lord, help me, Jesus. Help me control the things that I cannot control today.
It sounded like you were saying, Lord, help me, Jesus. That's what it sounded like you were whispering.
I was saying it. But look, be honest with you.
Two things.
One big thing to me, I feel like we have progressed, so much in the mindset that I was raised Catholic. We got people at this table that was raised Pentecostal. We got people that was raised apostolic, and we all were able to find a way to the truth. And I think about my older cousins and the men that I grew up around that was, 10, 15, 17 years older than me. And I look at where they are in life right now and what they believe. And this ain't no throw my family in the bus mindset or anything like that. It's just a lot of my cousins are 5%er, nation, more, what's it called? Not more,
the Moors.
Moors, Masons.
You from that area, though.
Yeah, I'm from that area. So it's like,
the Akis.
So many of them. But still, when you think about those guys, nation, black Israelites, I've seen them all my life. Like, it ain't, that is new for everybody seeing them on TV. I'm like, I know them cats already.
Word.
I might be related to some of them. I just can't see what they look like on the video screen. Shout out to being blind. But, hey, look, you got to make fun of some stuff, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But I just think, needless to say, like, we grown as a people where we actually can handle difficult conversations and, like, literally stop being sensitive. Like, I think more so with us, like, we were raised to get punched in the face and still be friends with a person the same day. Where I wish this generation can have some of that as well as the smarts that they have. Like, they're so smart where they can handle multiple conversations and they can take in so much more because, they're not out in the streets playing hopscotch or playing pop-up football, throw the ball in the air and get tackled or whatever you call it in your city. But I just think literally, like, we can handle difficult conversations if people just take the time to have them with us. I think about being from the inner city in my early childhood years and like knowing about the community police. And I just feel like our idea of the police, how did my idea of the police, I'm talking about myself, change so much now that I'm a 30-year-old man as opposed to when I was a kid. I seen the police in the neighborhood and they weren't as bad as I thought they were. It was community yo. It's like, that's community cop. That's a community cop. That's officer such and such in the neighborhood. If you ain't doing nothing too stupid, he know you selling. He just gonna make sure he handling the real stuff. And I just feel like we done got so warped with the news version of what's going on in the cities, where we like, that's not the real police. The real police will know you selling and they drive right by you. The real police ain't about to beat you up every single day if you're doing something wrong. If they chase you and you run, you're gonna get what come with it. They may take your stuff
Man,
and then you
you
go.
trying to take it somewhere else, dog.
I'm not meaning to go there. I'm just saying, like, in the mindset of where we're waking up more so, and we got to stop letting someone else false narrative, fake news. Shout out to the current president. We get so much fake news, and we make like it's real news. We make like it's the real truth, and we dumb enough to believe it as if we don't have experiences our own self. Needless to say, I said all that to really get back in the kid in part two. Part two of me, I said two things.
Yes, you
My
did.
second thing is
You did.
we as a people, Andrew, we gotta be truthful with ourselves. I'm glad you said I'm a black man and I grew up differently, but I was able to say this was the mindset that I saw black people living at. This is what I saw on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to emulate that, and it didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing we have to say as a black people from the inner city. Speaking white ain't a thing. Just speak proper. Right. Just speak like you have some education. Mm. You can speak black and have education. You can be from the inner city and be a good person. I just really have a disdain in my heart when people make like the city or the inner cities are trash because of the false narrative that's put out there, where most of the people that we talk about is the great influencers of our people were from inner cities. The heart surgeon from Johns Hopkins, he just ran for president. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. He a clown now, but
he from Detroit.
Ben Carson. He a clown still. He probably the only clown in Detroit. How about that? But
he's definitely not the only clown in Detroit. Let me just let you know that, brother.
It's few of them. But needless to say, I digress. Just from the mere fact that we have people from inner cities that's doing great things. I just dislike that the fact that whenever we talking about black people, when we say, oh, if you doing music or if you doing sports, that's still an achievement. And I commend you for, making it and achieving that. And not all black people wearing, Gucci down from the head to the toes. We not as a people, we not doing those simple things that's in the videos. Half of that stuff rented.
You mean all of us don't have like iced out grills and gold fronts?
I think I think that it's okay though
for you to have.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, no, I wasn't talking about. I mean, look, if you want to grill, shout out to the homie. You know what I mean? You got a grill. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about. I think that it's also okay that we keep it real with the kids. Like, look, man, you ain't going to the league, bro. You're not going to the league. You're not finna get a deal. And if you do get a deal, they gon' 360 you, and you gonna be up out of here.
Yep.
So let's do something different. Like I said, I'm not necessarily even a proponent of pushing these kids into. Matter of fact, I'm not a proponent of pushing these kids to corporate America. I'm just not.
I used to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they pimp them out.
Yeah, absolutely. But we got to give them something. We got to give them something else besides. Oh yeah, you could hoop. Go to the league. You gonna go to the league. You gonna go to the league. Oh, you could sing. Oh, you could play. Oh, get you a record deal. Like, even if you want to push your kid to pursue music, figure out a different way besides the industry as far as like a record deal. Mm-hmm. Even if you do want your kid to pursue sports, think of a different way besides the NBA or the NFL. Like, it's cats, man, making paper that ain't never even picked up a ball in their life, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
agents.
Free throws suck. You know what I'm saying? They jumper is trash. But they in the sports industry making way more bread than LeBron is.
And you want to know something? 2 things, because again, you dropped the boatload. So one, like you said, you're not even going to push your children to be in a corporate world, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because of what you were exposed to. So
Absolutely.
you know
That's
what I'm
why.
saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
we have one generation who are just happy to be able to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
We have the next generation.
Listen at what you
being
doing. Look at
happy
what he
to
doing.
vote.
I know what he doing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The next, you see the
Progression. Yes, sir.
You see that there.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's
Skip
what's
over
so,
the regression either.
so, huh?
He told you to don't skip over the regression. Let's skip over the regression. No, it's okay. It's okay.
But,
My bad, bro.
but no, you
Yeah.
good. Yeah, you
did 'em.
You did
You
it a
did
little
'em
bit.
well.
Yep, you did it. But
got
but
it
now you
ordered,
made it
bro.
to a point to where you've been exposed to so many different avenues. It's like, look, that's a limited way of thinking. This is all of your options right here.
Yeah.
It's not just this. See, we
Yeah.
think the American dream is house, picket fence, and car. I mean, on career. That's just it.
Nope.
Like that's it for you. Like that can't be it. That's limited.
Right.
That's limited. So,
Right.
but again, that's only because we're exposed to more things in life
Yes, sir.
as we move forward. So your children are going to have a different outlook on life because of what you've instilled and exposed to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's going to go on and go on and go on there. And you said something else. Dang.
Ha ha.
You said something else. What
Where's
were you?
the spoon?
Dang. It's all good, but that was half of it.
Time out though.
you-
I gotta jump right back in for 1 second, and I'm jumping back off the boat. You said earlier, was it because? And when you asked the question, was it because of our own doing?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to touch base on our own doing part of the conversation.
Oh, that's what you meant when you said regress.
Regress. I think it was part of our own doing, and I think we still in the way sometimes when we highlight the negative more so than pointing out the positives. We self-identify with people that's not like us and not us, and make like we are not a people or it's not a thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna just go there.
Yeah, give me an example of what you're
Just
talking
go
about.
there.
Go there, brother. Go there, man.
When you on the bridge, bro, just stay on the bridge and keep
Don't
walking.
jump off.
I'm just-
Don't jump off. Jump off,
I mean,
man.
hey, look, you know, give me a bungee cord. I
There's
might
water
need to come
down
back
there.
up.
Hey, look, man, there's water down there. You can swim.
Look,
There's water down
I'm
there.
back.
Bungee cord free.
say, look, we as a people
Mm-hmm.
make like life just started and nothing else in the past is important. Like Rick is educated enough to know to point back to the ancestors and say what the ancestors have done for us.
Okay.
But us as a people today, I don't think we are using the head knowledge that we have gained to reflect. And I think we more so worried about the here and now. And I think that's all we doing is we point out the negatives and we say, oh, black people did this and it didn't work in the past, so why do it now? Or protest didn't work in the past. You see what it happened to us when we protest. So now when we protest, it's just gonna get us killed. It's gonna get us looking stupid. And then we're like, hey, look, you know, protest works. Peaceful conversation works. It has many avenues you can take to getting your agenda across. But I don't think we can negate the fact that we participate in stuff that have nothing to do with us. The feminist movement have nothing to do with black people.
Right.
We let the laws that were created for us be used for other people that's not even for them.
Mm-hmm.
Rick
Bro, you
spoke
remind me of Kanye. I'm sorry.
hey,
Wow. Whoa.
I'm the opposite of him.
I'm like, wait a minute. How?
Bro.
Let me
How?
remember.
I know. I want you to tell how.
That's disrespectful. I mean, the old Kanye West.
No.
Donald Trump don't care
Oh
about.
no, I'm sorry. You know what? You are right. I was talking about old Kanye.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You know what?
Man,
And I'm sorry. I gotta say,
brother.
don't forget your thought. But I literally heard y'all know when he said this on on that one show. He said George Bush doesn't care about black
Oh,
people.
I was about to say it. Yeah.
Like, bro, and not saying that's what you are saying, but
No.
just it's brash. Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
we could be Christians and still black. Let me just go that far. I
Okay.
think as a Christian we say, well, we worried about stuff that have nothing to do with us. Whoa. I'm still black, and when I walk up the street, yes, I'm walking up the street as a Christian man everywhere I go. If a white man walks up the street and he's Christian, he's a believer in Jesus Christ, he's baptized full of the Holy Ghost in Jesus' name, he believes in speaking in tongue, he's a Christian. He is a Christian, and he's following the way, but that doesn't mean that people don't see him as a white man when they see him as well. And I feel like we go so far to make like our eyes don't work, or discrimination is not real. We naturally discriminate. It's just having discernment on what we see when we see something, the immediate judgment when we see something. So we get people telling us, don't already know what people are going to think about you. Don't already know that you're going to be judged this way. I remember vividly hearing when I walked out the house, especially when I got a curfew, you're a black man, you already got two strikes against you. Like, I already knew these things. So when I knew how to hold myself with some decorum when I went out, because I knew these things. So we go so far to say, they ain't there no more. Don't remember those things. Don't tell your children the bad stuff too. Don't tell your children the good stuff. Don't prepare them. No, prepare them. Prepare them. Let them know truth. Let them know they're black and they're also Christian. They're Christian and then black. But, you're still black. And the things that reflect to black people, black business is a part of you, and let's try to correct black business. We're in the world as well. We're not of the world. I know the scriptures that's connected to it, but don't make like life is not going to happen for your black children that you have. Like, I have a black son. I'm nervous for some of the things he's going to experience in his lifetime, because the things that I experience as a black man, I'm like, I don't want to be coming from a house party and feel like I'm laughing in the car with my friends, and I see my friend get thrown up against a car. I don't want my son to have that experience that I had. I don't want my son to feel like because he just went to go visit his grandmother in the inner city, his pocket's getting ran through, and he ain't got no drugs on him. He ain't selling no drugs. He just hanging out with the men or the young boys that he grew up with. That's the black experience. So to tell your children this is the black experience is not true. Well, just because some black people don't experience it doesn't mean that that is not a part of the black experience and they shouldn't be prepared for it. And I feel like we as Christians, we make like, oh, you ain't going to experience that anymore. You're not going to experience that. That's not a part of your life. Don't talk about that. Let's be politically correct. Let's be sensitive.
Let's have our head up in the clouds.
Yeah, exactly. I love the fact that the old heads would talk to us about what they sing. I love the songs that Papa was a Rolling Stone. Like, oh, what that meant? What does that mean? Mm-hmm. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Like, they made a song about a dude being a stick and move guy and how it wasn't good for him, and we just like, I ain't gonna listen to that. I ain't gonna understand what those meant. That's poetry that we just said we're gonna go read Freud and what's the dude name? Hamlet and all that other crap. Like, not me, not Mike Robinson. No. Y'all should have never got me started. Should have never gave me no money.
Learn your culture first.
Facts.
Go as deep in your culture as you can first.
Yes. And that going deep in your culture can definitely go hand in hand with going deep in your religion. I'm gonna just go there. We make like a lot of the stories that happen in the Bible was not talking about copper-colored people. So then we let the terminology black people make us when we're not black people. We're not African Americans. We're copper-colored people. We come in many different type of brown. We come in many different type of colors, shapes of brown. Even if look at all of us. Majority of us have kids in here, and none of our kids are the same complexion as we are. So you mean to tell me kids that we gave birth to, that we gave? My wife is
that we know is ours.
That we know
by the
is
way.
ours. So my wife is literally almost not that far off from the complexion I am, but I have a son that's
high yellow.
He ain't my complexion. I'll tell you that.
High yellow.
So I just.
But he look just like you though.
Yeah. So wasn't no milkman around my neighborhood.
Hello.
She my woman.
Hey, but look. So you came for me earlier, and I wanted to address it. Protest.
I came for him. You
You
feel
came
me?
for me. Hey, it's all good too.
I ain't coming at Andrew though.
That's what
I ain't
meant to
coming at
talk
Andrew.
about.
Protest.
That was my part.
Hold on,
too.
y'all not gonna commend me for not coming at Andrew? No,
Hey,
pat me in the
man,
back.
look.
Give me a clap.
Hey, he said, "Give me a clap."
You did that last podcast, bro.
Yeah, but this one I was good.
No, you
Last
bro.
two I was after you.
Hey, look,
Everybody equal target.
you said something at the end of it, which was protest is a good thing. Peaceful conversation is a good thing. I have an issue with the rah-rah protest violence simply because that is what is done mostly. It's the majority of what's going on out here, man. Like,
But protest doesn't have to be violent.
no, it doesn't. No, it absolutely doesn't.
But you're saying,
Protest
Dave, it
can
is.
be financial. When it, hey,
100%.
here's a perfect
100%.
example, and I know y'all know
That's
where
what I
I'm
was
about to
gonna
go
say.
with it. When them cats protested and stopped riding the bus,
He killed the game.
man, they killed the game. That was a protest, man. That was a protest. And so that's what I'm saying. Yes, sure. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so what am I saying? It's necessary to squeak sometimes. Yes, it is necessary so you could get the oil. But we all can't squeak. You squeak, I'm going to be peaceful. You going to be the rich guy that funds do. Like, we have to be diversified in what we're doing. We in this popcorn social media generation where it's easy to cut your phone on, be walking down the street, see a couple cats throwing rocks at the police. So now you pick up a rock with your phone, throw it at the police. Now we all doing the same thing. Like,
And all of us get locked up.
and then some of us get locked up. Maybe not even all of us.
Innocent ones most of the time.
Right. and so what does that do? That fuels us to keep going out and doing it again. Man, shoot, man. It wasn't until I got caught doing it, breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? That I said, okay, hold on, maybe I should. You know what I'm saying? But I should have been, before I got caught, listening to whoever it was that was saying, "Look, youngster, you better slow down. You better do this. You better do it like this. You want to keep doing it, you better do it like this." So that's all I'm saying, man. You want to keep doing it, you got to do it like this.
Facts. And I agree with you 100%, but I think in this generation we have a better outlook on hearing what you're saying and letting it reach the youth as opposed to Tupac. I listened to his interviews now and I'm like, man, why I didn't hear that as a child?
Huh.
Why, if I heard him say that, the person that he was, say what he said now when I listened to his interviews as a child, I feel like it would have influenced me. But we have so many of our influencers saying they're not our role models. Everybody took what, Wisconsin said to heart. Like, they literally just said, I'm not going to be your role model. I want to tell you what to do, but I'm not going to share my life with you. And that sounds deep. I sound like I was a little Ricky
Look
there.
at
I
him. Hey,
felt like I
couldn't even
embodied
finish
my
his point.
Ricky right
That
there.
was
You know
truth.
what I'm saying?
Couldn't even finish his point. That boy said, "Oh, that was good."
I might have to replay that when you put this online. Make sure you turn my
Highlight
voice
that part
up.
somehow.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I
Put
got
like a
you.
little halo around me. Shout out to the filters.
That boy said a halo.
Wow.
A galo, because the girls for girls. But man, boys be putting that stuff, them filters on him. If I see a
Man,
boy
he would
put
be the
another
person
filter
to
on him right now, My bad. Y'all know y'all can't get me going somewhere else.
You went and then kept going, brother.
You said you gonna rock a Galo.
No, I'm not. No. Yeah, I did say that. Huh?
You said it loud and clear.
Never mind.
And
Hey,
it's on
look,
mine.
this is produced by Ricky Bobby Inc. and shot we use anywhere. But look, let me just say this. Be honest with you.
Put a button on it too.
Got you. Time to go. Hey. You done hit me with the Martin. Y'all ain't gotta go home.
Nah, not even.
After the Galo, it's like, yeah.
Put a button on it. Nah, you good though. Definitely.
My end point in this whole situation, I feel like we have grown as a people, and there's more progress to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like I'm repeating Ricky again,
No,
but
good.
I think, truth be told, if we want to take the next step into progress, we have to learn how to self-identify. My personal opinion, I think we need to have love for self. We have to realize who we are as a people and say, you know, I'm ready to help my people, and I'm ready to self-identify with who I really am. And don't let someone else's pedagogy and who you are overtake who you are. Don't let somebody else false news, fake news, false mindset of you change who you actually are. We have life experiences on our own. We don't need seeing to forge our mind. I ain't seen that many black brothers being killed on the street for me to say that's what I see every day. I have seen black brothers looting and busting people over the head and robbing, and then I have seen them same cats go to jail and come back and came out and change their life. And it wasn't because of jail. It was because of somebody else. You know, if they go to jail for a short time, the ones that went to jail for a long time, jail don't help. Jail don't help. So, you know, I just feel like we have to meet the people where they are. We have to, you know, love our neighbors and really take that to heart. Really, like, examine ourselves and really see, you know, how am I helping with the cause.
Boom. There it is. Go ahead, put a button on it, Rick.
Take advantage of every opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Don't know.
Button. Hey, don't.
That was the drop of the mic sound.
Put a button on it, Drew.
Man, what can I say? They already said everything I was gonna say. I mean, it's yes, we as a people we've been through a lot, but we've been through a lot. We're strong. We're strong people.
Yeah, man.
We survived slavery. We survived bigotry, assassination, incarceration, degradation.
Hey, there it is. There it is, brother.
it.
Go ahead,
You know
round
what
in
I'm
words
saying?
like a preacher. Go on, round in words.
But guess what? Guess what? We're still here. We're still thriving. We're still moving forward.
Well,
And I believe that, you know, we're at a time where a lot of us are waking up and we're realizing like, look, we got to get something. We got to get it. We got to really get it together, because, you know, history has shown that they don't care. They're worried about themselves, as Dave said. We need to be worried about ourselves. So I want to, when I'm 70 years old, I want to be able to walk inside a black-owned beauty store. I want to be able to go to have my insurance at a black broker. I want to be able to go to a black-owned bank. But guess what? I want it to be at a black-owned plaza. Like, I want our minds to be that, okay, we're going to buy this place, and we're going to hook up with all the people that own businesses. We're going to rent out, and we're going to sell property at this spot. Everybody's going to own their own shop, run their own businesses. We're going to have everybody coming out here because we're building something for ourselves so we can pass it on to the next generation. Let's not just think about ourselves. Just think about self-survival and, you know, self-containment. We need to think about investing in these youth. These youth need us.
yeah.
They may be pushing back and talking about all that stuff. Let that be like, call that white noise. You know, audio people know when that white noise. Don't pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? Tune them out. Like, put the gain in, the lows and the highs,
Hey,
so it can be a clean,
Okay.
so it can be a clean frequency. Because, like you said, I want to be like Dave. My son, and my daughter. When I die, the words that I speak out of my mouth that I spoken to them when they were first born. I've been speaking to my children since they were first born, telling my son, like, look, you may be very light, but guess what? You're still a black man.
Hey.
They can tell by your by your facial features, by your Celtic by your features that you're a black person. So don't think that you're and that's that's our own fault by treating lightness
Oh snap!
as being.
Next podcast.
We need to stop thinking that that somehow by having different upbringings or having different features makes us better than somebody else. No, you're still black. Like I even though I did not grow up in the inner city, I'm still black. Doesn't matter whether I grew up in Compton or I grew up on a military base.
Orange County.
Military base.
Not no.
Orange
Orange County.
Funny.
You mean Orange County or Compton? Inner city black, county black.
I don't like you, bro. But yeah, we just need to keep that in mind, man. We're doing good. We're doing real good. I don't care what the old heads may be saying. We're not going around in circles. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
We're making progression, and like I said, I hope that when I'm 60, 70 years old, that we're in a beautiful, like I said, a beautiful place where I want to be able to go into black businesses and just like see them spread out like supposed to be, man.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you now? 57?
I know.
You're pretty old now.
I'm 30. I don't like you, bro.
My bad. Dave, put a button on it.
I don't like you, bro. Right.
Yeah, you see how I try to take your job?
Yeah, nah, bro, whatever.
I tried,
you
you
good.
know what I mean?
Nah,
Hey,
you good.
now.
I started
Welcome.
I started rambling like a.
Yeah, we on. We all the hosts. That's why I'll never introduce myself as the host. But anyway, we can't ignore.
You wrote some stuff down too over there.
I did.
Like,
I think I memorized it too, so I ain't gonna have to look down. Let's see. We cannot ignore the things that the elites or the powers that be have done to us as a people. We can't ignore it.
Nope.
We definitely cannot ignore it. But what we have to do is move forward.
Yes, sir.
We have to move forward. I'm not saying forget it.
No, remember it.
Remember it. But move forward. What we also have to do is recognize that once we get financially together, we cannot be stopped. We will not be able to be stopped. Like, for real, for real. And we have to work toward that, whatever that means. For some, that means educating brothers on the basics first. We can't just go to the hood and go straight to talking about financial stability. Sometimes you got to do some groundwork. But whatever that means, we got to do it. We got to get to that point. We have to get us to that point to where we are having the conversation about financial stability. Because once we get there, and once we get there with an agenda, we got to have an agenda as well. We can't just all be rich. We got to have an agenda. We got to have a plan. And this isn't only for, black people. But, for some reason, and I'll just say for some reason, we are the ones this is prevalent in. Like, we need to hear this. Most other ethnicities kind of got this down packed. And so we need to hear it, man. But we need to do it. We need to do it, and we need to do the groundwork. Slowly but surely, man. Slow and steady wins the race. And we got to have an agenda. And that's really all I got to say, man. We can't be stopped once we get with it, though. Like, for real, for real.
There it is.
There it is, man.
Ain't no stopping us now.
Hey.
No.
We on the move.
No, no. Ain't no stopping us now. Hey, we on the move.
Oh, I thought you was going to keep going.
No. My bad.
If you made it this far, man, round of applause for you.
Yeah.
You have been tuned in to the Honor Among Men podcast. Real men, real issues, real talk. Praise the Lord or else.
Hey, you already know.
You already know.
Hallelujah.
Follow us, man. Follow us. Like, subscribe. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on SoundCloud. And it is the Flowers Now Network. All one word. The Flowers Now Network. All one word. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time, man. Peace.
Peace. Holla.